Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of What's Driving Token Prices. I'm your host, Katie Talati, Director of Research at Arca. For those joining us for the first time, I'm responsible for identifying and analyzing digital asset and blockchain opportunities for Arca's funds. As part of our research, my team and I examine token prices and the market events that act as catalysts for price change. Based on our research and market events over the past week, here's some notable token price moves and what we think drove these moves. As a reminder, this commentary is not intended to be investment advice, investment research, or an investment recommendation. Please consult your investment professional for your own circumstances. Well, it has been another busy week in the crypto space as we head into the end of October here. The big news for the week was that Stripe payment processor acquired Bridge, a crypto payment processor, for $1.1 billion, which is the largest acquisition in crypto to date. Other big kind of headline news is that World Liberty Financial, which is Donald Trump's crypto project, has failed to raise the $100 million target that they set out for. And a lot of people are already starting to call it a flop. But we got some great tokens to talk about this week, some good, some bad. And we will get started by giving them to you here. So first up, we're going to talk about Scroll. So yesterday, Layer 2 Rollup Scroll launched their token, SCR, following a mainnet launch last October. So Scroll basically uses zero knowledge proofs, which we've kind of talked about before. This is the technology that verifies transactions are true, essentially, without either party kind of knowing the contents or why the messages are true, or sorry, what in the transaction is true. And then that's done in order to speed up the processing time on that blockchain. So as part of the token launch, about 7% of the total supply was airdropped to the community and early users of the L2. Unlike a lot of the recent token launches, Scroll has actually managed to trade at a pretty healthy valuation. They are about 200 million right now, or just under a billion fully diluted, and it's actually quite a bit less than their last VC funding round of 1.8 billion in early 2023. As I mentioned, Scroll did start trading, but it's down about 23% since it opened yesterday. Okay, next up, Radiant. So Radiant is a decentralized money market protocol, or lend borrow protocol that were forked from Aave. They unfortunately suffered an exploit last week that saw about $51 million of assets drained from the project in a matter of hours. So Radiant offers lending markets on the Ethereum market, or offers lending markets on the Ethereum market, Arbitrum, BNB chain, and Based. And they unfortunately suffered a pretty sophisticated hack where the hacker compromised the individual computers of several of Radiant's team members. They think through like a Trojan horse type style attack. A hacker then had each of these team members sign what they thought were just normal transactions by manipulating the front end UI or like interface of the Gnosis Safe wallet that manages all the assets for the protocol. Once they did this, they were able to get the individual like signatures or private keys for each of these individual multi-signature people, and then they were able to put it together and drain the assets themselves. So this was like a really undetectable hack. I don't think I've heard of anything like this before. It was definitely different than what we've seen in the past. And they were able to drain funds from both the Arbitrum and the BNB markets. So since the attack, Radiant unfortunately has seen about a 57% of decline in TVL as assets were drained and also users pulled their funds out of the protocol. And their token RDNT is down about 14% for the week. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about ApeCoin. So this is more on the happier side of things. But over the weekend, the NFT project Bored Ape Yacht Club held their annual conference called Ape Fest. They're highlighting the ecosystem's like accomplishments. If you're not familiar with the Bored Ape Yacht Club, they're those like really scary looking, literally monkey NFT projects that became really famous in 2021. And they've had several offshoots such as Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Bored Ape Kennel Club, and I can't remember the other one, but there's like 3 or 4. And the same project that runs all of these called Yuga Labs, they also own the IP for Meebits and CryptoPunks. So they're pretty big, like, brand in the space. They launched their token ApeCoin back in 2022. And since then, they have been promising, like, we're going to launch Ape Chain. It's going to be this L2. It is going to be, it's going to have a lot of abilities for users to transact with their NFTs, do a lot of trading. They're going to have their game for their metaverse on there as well. And that's just been, people have been kind of assuming this won't ever happen since it hasn't gone live yet. But to everybody's surprise, Ape Chain went live this weekend. And basically it's going to be powered by the Ape token. So the NFT collections, like I said, mentioned, it's been a bit of a disappointment in the last couple of years. So this the chain launch came as quite a surprise to folks. And you can see that reflected in the token price of Ape, which went up 120% on this news, but it's since retraced and it's up about 69% for the week. Okay, last up, we've got a different one for you guys. So if you follow here a lot, like I don't like to talk a lot about meme coins and stuff like that. But this one was actually pretty interesting and became really popular in an unusual way. So I'm really summarizing this. Totally recommend looking into this more if this is of interest to you. But basically, over the summer, this AI developer called Andy Array, he was known for experimenting with a bunch of like large language learning models or LLM models, and he launched something called Terminal of Truth. So the Terminal of Truth is this LLM model, and they're trained basically using only very specific, bizarre information. And basically, their training was based on the deranged conversations between two other AIs earlier in the summer in this like weird box. So as a result, they were educated on some very odd stuff, and including they were educated on the dark recesses of the web. So use your imagination as to what that might entail. So this LLM was given a X account, terminal_truth on Twitter or X, and it was basically allowed to post its thoughts pretty freely. So within a month, the AI claimed to be sentient. It discussed something called Goatsy Singularity, which is a religion generated by a prior AI. And before it finally started engaging online with A16Z founder Mark Andreessen. So in their exchange, Andreessen essentially decided to offer this AI a $50,000 Bitcoin grant to do with it as it pleases, in a kind of experimental way. So as a result, 2 weeks ago, someone totally unrelated decided that they were going to launch a goat meme coin based on Goatsius Maximus, which is the Goatsy religion that I mentioned earlier. And they launched it on Solana's Pump Top Fund meme coin exchange, which has been kind of like that premier venue where all the meme coins have been launched as of late. It launched, and the Truth Terminal AI account endorsed it immediately. And as a result, this meme coin just totally caught fire. It ended up having it rose to having a $450 million market cap, and it's continued to trade up on kind of like this internet's obsession with like the latest AI times crypto crossover. Some cool kind of facts about it, if you're like interested, is like it's actually a fairly well distributed coin. The top holders only account for like 10% of the token. Like the rest of it is very community owned, which we've seen from a lot of these meme coins, which is kind of like the differentiator between those and a lot of other projects in the space right now. And so, yeah, so it's interesting. AI created coin, or an AI created by AI technically endorsed a religion, and then a token that also was created by AI. So if you're feeling a little like you're living in the Matrix, welcome. Me too. Goat, though, is up 218% for this week. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed our insights. Tune in here again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear